newspapers with the Huffington Post UK editor-in-chief, Carla Buzasci, and Sunday Mirror columnist, Jamie Breese. Good to see you both once again. And I know, Carla, we've got to kick off with you, haven't we? Because Justin Timberlake, of all people, is making The Guardian. But why?
Yeah, it isn't just.
Hello there, we're
Justin
looking at
Timberlake. I want to talk about this story. So big news, especially in my industry, digital media. MySpace has been sold for a kind of paltry 21 million, given that it was bought not that long ago for 580 million. But Justin Timberlake has also put some of his own money in. We don't know exactly how much he's put into it, but he's going to have an office. He is actually going to be involved in trying to revitalise MySpace and take on Facebook again.
Yeah, I mean, he's leading the business strategy.
Yes.
I mean, is it wrong of me to be surprised that a pop star can be a businessman in that sense? Because I have to say, the idea of leading business strategy is way beyond what I could do.
Well, I think that when you first read it, you think, in fact, the first thing you think was, did he enjoy being in the social network so much that he decided he actually wanted to do it for real? But he made a very interesting statement by saying, he wants to use a social media platform to bring artists and fans together, which is how MySpace was so successful back in the day. It was a place for bands to break themselves, and I think that if that can become the USP of this site again, and it is about music, let Facebook be about swapping photographs with your friends and your mum and grandmother, as it is so much these days, and MySpace not to be so much about everyone connecting, but about musicians and artists and their fans connecting, then maybe it stands a chance.
Yes, spurring on a bit of creativity, Jamie, do you think?
I think Carla's absolutely spot on. It has, MySpace, to a large degree, has lost what it was there originally about, in the music and talent and showcasing. And if it can arise from the relative ashes, I mean, it says here, look, it was at one point in 2007 valued at 12 billion. Is that pounds or dollars?
Well,
who cares?
Either way,
dollars.
It's a lot.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And now it's worth a fraction of that. It's been sold for really, as you said, a paltry amount. But interestingly enough, this story's also revealed that there's also part of the deal. There's been a lot of cuts in a time of, again, protests and riots and lots of cuts and lots of people earning lots of money and selling things for crazy amounts of money. 500 jobs are just gone. And it's just like that, just another 500 jobs at a time where a company, I think, should be really putting itself out there. Justin Timberlake, interesting choice to front it, and he said he's put his own money in, right?
Yeah.
So he's obviously got some confidence here.
Yeah, well, it's going to be interesting. I mean, I have to say, I quite like Justin Timberlake in that he's one of those people who, he could be any old pop star, but he's created himself into an actor and now a businessman as well.
If you think back to NSYNC, cheesy pop days, and he actually managed to come out as a credible artist and then a credible actor, and he was actually pretty good in the social network. So maybe businessman's the next line on the CV.
Oh well, each their own. Good on him. Let's move on to the Sun. They've got a double-page spread. Diana at 50.
Superb, really good, strong picture-led piece. This, and it's Julie Burchill, who I understand writes for the Huffington Post from time to time.
Well, she writes for My Daily, which is one of our women's sites.
Yes.
So, it's a very, very positive article about Diana. I think one of the things we thought interesting when we were talking back in the green room is that it's her 50th, would have been her 50th birthday today, and this isn't front page news. Now, I'm sure 6 months ago, a year ago, it would have been front page news, but we've got Kate now, and Kate's the person that we're interested in. So it's a kind of how times change was what made this stand out for me.
Do we have, or could people have different, I phrase it carefully, but to say she'd still be spectacularly beautiful, she'd still have that big beating heart, we don't.
No,
we haven't got a clue what would actually be
definitely.
going on in her life.
Well, actually, this article is quite flattering because I think there was a piece earlier in the week which they'd sort of digitally aged her, and she didn't look as wonderful as that shot suggests she might do it to 50.
But also, I don't know if any of you've seen this week, a news magazine in America has done a front cover and superimposed Kate walking next to Diana as if it was, which has been, well, it's caused outrage in some places, but nifty piece of photojournalism. So, still interesting. The comparisons are still running.
Yeah. Let's move. We're sticking to the Sun, actually, Jamie. But Kate Moss's wedding has it's shut down Croydon.
It has not just
Croydon.
She has closed down not one, but 2 towns. Now, of course, this is the Sun, and there may be a bit of sizzle going on here, but to all intents and purposes, she's trying to recreate the Glastonbury spirit as if a week ago wasn't soon enough.
Yeah.
And all her friends are coming along. There's 400. Actually, the church they wanted to have it in originally in Oxfordshire was a little bit too small for 400 guests. So now she's taken over 2 towns, and I didn't realise until.
Croydon, she should have it in Croydon.
I don't follow Kate terribly closely, but she is an icon, and she is a timeless icon actually, and has survived. Her shelf life, so to speak, has gone way beyond in terms of fashion icon, way beyond many other comparisons. And this is her first time she's got married. I understand.
The eternal bachelorette is finally settling down. But they're dubbing it Moss Fest. This is going to be the party of the year, I think. 3 days. Apparently Iggy Pop's performing, the Rolling Stones might be performing. She's got 10 marquees, each of them themed. One apparently as the Groucho. So, I think it's going to be a pretty big old bash.
Yeah, I guess I have to say, it leaves me a bit cold, all this sort of stuff. I just sort of think, ugh.
You're Kate Moss, it's going to be a big party.
I mean, as you say, she's an iconic figure, but a bit, as they say, for being a clothes horse. But it's one of those things, isn't it? To The Guardian, women in rich countries delaying pregnancy because of cuts. Yes. I mean, it's an interesting analysis.
Perhaps unusual when you're compared. It's all statistics, okay? So sit tight. We've got Greece and Britain, Ireland and Spain we're experiencing enormous cuts in social spending. And what this research is underpinning here, or suggesting may well be the case, is that the cutbacks are going to affect the fertility rate.
Yeah.
I mean, how about that? We don't talk about that when Cameron sort of starts slashing, public funding. The fertility, not just jobs, but the fertility rate. Yep. And that's what it says here. Am I imagining this?
No, I think, when you read this to begin with, as a woman, you look at it and think, well, God, you don't think that way. I don't think, oh my goodness, well, we're not going to, the country's going into recession, so I'm going to put off childhood. But I think when you actually think about it more, that idea, job losses, people losing jobs, more competition in the workplace, and then you can see how it is having that knock-on effect. People are more worried about their jobs. It's becoming harder to get ahead at work. You don't want to be out of the career loophole.
I'll tell you what, though, when it comes to making a bit of money or doing well, the Times reporting its own successes, if you like, with the online way of getting hold of the paper and what have you. Interesting development. A lot of people said it might fail, but.
I'm over the moon. I'm a big fan of online content. I'm next to Carla as well.
You've got to say that.
Got to say that, but it's true. I bought a friend an iPad 2 the other day, pretty soon after it came out, and it is a revolution. But isn't it interesting? And I work for a newspaper. I've done for 11 years, and I love print media. And there's nothing better than having something in your hand. But the iPad does a good job. The Times are selling. The Times are not the first in. But they're making a very, very good show of it. And the Sunday Times as well, lots of downloads.
Could well be the way forward, it has to be said. Jamie, Carla, good to see you both this morning. Thanks very much indeed. Let's get around up with the sports headlines, find out what's going to be happening at Wimbledon today. Here's Jackie.
Well, it's a very big day, Stephen. It's men's semi-finals day. Andy Murray going for a place in the final. Will it be third time lucky for him? He's up against Rafael Nadal, the defending champion. It is a big ask. Nadal has beaten him twice at Wimbledon, including last year at this stage. But Murray says he's better prepared than ever this time round, and he's playing well enough to win. Maria Sharapova reached her first Wimbledon final since winning as a 17-year-old back in 2004 with a straight sets win over Sabine Lisicki. The number 5 seed will play Petra Kvitova of the Czech Republic, who will make her debut in the Grand Slam final. And England plays Sri Lanka in the second one-day international at Headingley later on. But this morning, the Sri Lankan sports minister has sacked the country's cricket board amid claims of corruption and mismanagement. We'll have full sport from Wimbledon at 20 past. It's warming up here nicely.
Lovely stuff, Jackie. Thank you. And it is going to be a delicious day, Sarah, so you said an hour ago.
It is, absolutely. Jackie will be taking her layers off, layer by layer. It's going to be perfect weather for Wimbledon. Light winds, not too hot, not too sunny. Very favourable.
As the rain pours over Johannesburg, we'll keep your spirits up.
Hello there, good morning. So after a chilly start,